This video is an excerpt from my LEGO Man of Steel retrospective video, so if you'd like to see every set reviewed all at once, that video is on the channel now. Alright, this is the Superman Black Zero Escape. Now, this one had 168 pieces, one exclusive minifig, that being Lois Lane, as well as a price point of $19.99 back in 2013. This was on shelves from April of 2013 through January of 2015, had a pretty long life actually, and came with 3 minifigs and a comic book. We'll look at that comic book a little bit later on, but let's start breaking down the set now. Alright, so here's all 168 pieces in its glory. Of course, Superman can fly in and around the set. As far as play features go, we've got this little piece here that's supposed to shoot these missiles out at Superman. You really kind of got to pull it all the way back. The missiles are very, very simple Technic pins and little cone pieces there. But as we move it around, we'll take a look at the base first. There are stickers on the wall up front here and on this little computer screen. And I always like that the door actually can slide in and out so that you could open it for a minifig to like walk through. I do think that's pretty cool. The construction is very simple, and there's a little brick there that stops the door from going the whole way through. So yeah, very, very simple build here. We do have a walkway with some lights clipped to it, which will take you out to the little pod here. Then, of course, the pod is a pretty simple build in and of its own. We've got stickers everywhere. You can actually lift these panels off to see, like, design that's hidden underneath there, which I always thought was, like, a cool Easter egg as you're building it. We've got engine turbines in the back, and then, of course, guns on the bottom. We can open this up to remove the Lois Lane figure. And I always thought it was neat how the chair kind of opens and pushes back, too, to move the minifig in. But that actually brings us to the minifig, so we'll take a closer look at all 3 of them right now. So this Man of Steel Superman came in all 3 sets from the movie. It is an exceptional minifigure all these years later, and was pretty cool for 2013 to get leg printing and hip printing, not to mention that immaculate torso print that looks just like the movie and was so awesome. Of course, this was back in the day of paper capes, which was really nice, which we could turn around to see a very detailed print on the back of the torso, which, sadly gets covered up by the cape, but kind of a necessary evil. And then, of course, we got that S-curl hairpiece on Superman, which has come and gone over the years. Sometimes LEGO used it, sometimes they didn't. But on the reverse side, we got these angry red eyes, which looked so good and were so menacing. Absolutely love this minifig all these years later. So the Superman in this set is the same as all 3 of the other sets, but Lois Lane herself actually is exclusive to this set. The head and torso were only ever used on this figure. Of course, that head is reversible with the scared face on the other side for when she's in the pod. I don't really think that this looks all that much like Amy Adams or is very accurate, but it is a nice figure for customs with that torso, and honestly, the head can work for like Scarlett Johansson as well. It's not the best pick ever, but, looking for the silver lining here of cool things with it. It's not the worst minifig ever, but certainly not the most accurate either. And this is General Zod. This is the same minifig that appears in the Black Zero Escape as the Battle of Smallville set. And as you'll see, he's got a black cape and some amazing armor for the head and the shoulders here. Of course, if we lift that off, you can see that we've got the head underneath for General Zod. We'll go ahead and remove that. And now he's basically the same minifig as the other way around. He does have a hairpiece, of course, but this version is supposed to keep the helmet on, so we'll kind of do that exactly as you see it. Alright, so this is the comic book. It actually came in the Battle of Smallville set too, which we'll look at momentarily, but the back has advertisements for the 2012 and 2013 DC minifig lineup, and I'll just go ahead and show all the pages. You can pause and read them if you want, but I do love the stylized artwork, of course, with the LEGO minifigs. Very loosely retelling the story of Man of Steel, but not one-to-one, of course, because they never wanted to spoil too much with these. They were just fun little pack-ins, and Marvel got them as well. But there you go. There's the whole comic book, and now we'll get into the set. All right, guys. Well, this is an interesting set. I think for 20 bucks back in the day, it's hard to argue with, right? It wasn't like a horrible set. It's just very odd with some of the pieces that are used, and the fact that it doesn't really lend itself to anything other than what it is. But it was definitely a great minifig pack if you were only going to get one set from it, and getting that Lois Lane with that torso that's very useful for customs is pretty good too. So let me know what you guys think. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.